You're listening to the Baumbastic Podcast with Andrew Ellis on Inside Arkansas.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Baumbastic Podcast, presented by Inside Arkansas and hosted by Andrew Ellis. I'm coming to you on May 3rd, about 5:30 p.m. The Arkansas Razorbacks just finished up a clean sweep of the Texas Longhorns, who entered the series at 19-2 overall in the SEC standings. They were also number one in the country. Neither of those things are true anymore. Texas falls to 19-5. Arkansas improves to 17-7. I don't know how important winning the SEC regular season title is to you. Arkansas has won their fair share over the years. I'm sure you'd rather trade them for a national title win in the postseason. But Arkansas, if they do want to chase that kind of crown, and they're going to have to face some pretty good teams in LSU and Tennessee to do it. But Arkansas gave themselves a chance in that race by sweeping this series against Texas, who, again, these are the two top teams in the SEC in these standings. And Arkansas still being 2 games back, do have a chance for that. But more importantly, the Razorbacks played some damn good baseball. They get it done 13-8 in Game 3 on Sunday. We saw the Razorback pitching staff really hold down Texas to 1 run in 18 innings. It was pretty much Arkansas beating Texas at their game. Texas, who entered the this series this weekend, number 1 in the SEC in ERA, number 1 in opponent's batting average. Arkansas kind of beat them at their own game in the first 2 games. Game 3 turned into a little bit of a slugfest, a little bit of a shootout, and Arkansas beat them at that game too. The Hogs played a little bit of guerrilla ball. Their first 12 runs came via home run, via 5 home runs the Razorbacks hit in this game. They wound up kind of scratching together a run there in the 8th inning to make it 13 for a Baker's dozen. It was just a really good day at the office for the Arkansas Razorbacks. The story in this one, to me, or at least this series overall, when you look at Texas coming into the weekend, again, number 1 pitching staff in the country, number 1 pitching staff in the SEC, a lot of it is dealt with their bullpen. The closer, Dylan Volantis, who Arkansas saw today, we'll talk about how that went. He has 11 saves on the year, had an ERA under 1 coming into this weekend. That's been the formula for Texas, is getting to these games, and sometimes twice in a weekend, getting late into a ball game with a lead, going to Max Stubbs, who started the game for Texas on the mound today, made his first start of the season, and Dylan Volantis, getting those 2 guys combined for 16 saves. That's kind of been the formula for Texas, and we spoke about it yesterday after the show, that very ideal for Arkansas, that you're going into Game 3 and you had not seen either of those guys. Not only had they not thrown in Games 1 and 2, they hadn't even gotten up and getting loose. Like, there really wasn't even a moment where Jim Schlossnagle could have turned to him and said, hey, let's maybe go to those guys, because Arkansas put it to him and was in control of the entire series, didn't trail for even a second in either of those first 2 games. And so already coming into today, Arkansas had the series locked up. We knew it was going to be a productive, like, no matter what, it was a successful weekend. Arkansas was kind of playing with house money today, but you knew they wanted that sweep. They played like a team that wanted that sweep, and Texas had 2 of their top arms available, one that started, one that tried to finish the game but was unable to. Arkansas got after both of those guys. They also got after the guy. I keep referencing him as Texas's hard-throwing righty. I guess I should point out his name is Thomas Burns. I kept referring to him as just the hard-throwing righty. I couldn't remember his name. Hard-throwing righty sophomore. Arkansas saw him today. They scored 5 runs in an inning and 3rd off of him. That was kind of the story in this game, in this series, is that Arkansas stayed in control with their pitching staff. Their starters won each of the battles, really all 3, even Landon Bottleshees, who didn't throw the ball really, all that great today. We'll talk about his outing in a little bit. Arkansas got the better starts in this game. Their bullpen was also better. And even when Texas went to their bullpen, kind of shamefully, it's a 9-7 game in the 6th inning. Texas has to go to their closer, and you're down 9-7 already. Arkansas adds 3 more runs on a Charles Davalon home run. Quite the statement just overall. And look, Texas is a good baseball team. They're going to have much better days. They've had a ton more better days. Maybe they peaked too early, but clearly they are not. They didn't play their best baseball this weekend. And perhaps if these 2 teams run it back, maybe it'll be a little bit closer. But watching those two teams play these 3 games this weekend, you didn't really feel like it was all that close, frankly. Today's game was at least semi-competitive, and we'll get into the rundown here in a second of how it all went down. But really, Arkansas was the better team. They pitched better. They hit better. They played better defense. They threw more strikes. They had better stuff on the mound. Like, every type of facet of this baseball series, Arkansas dominated it. Quite the statement. We'll see what it does for Arkansas in terms of resume, where they rank in the polls tomorrow or Monday. I guess it'll probably be somewhere in that 3 to 7 range, depending on where you look. But Arkansas has put themselves in a very good situation. They've got a couple of big-time battles coming against some really good teams that I think are actually more serious threats to win the College World Series title than this Texas team that Arkansas just saw. But this should give this group some confidence. I think we can officially say they're back on track after losing 3 SEC series. Big-time sweep. Their resume is going to be in a good spot. I don't want to say this clinched a national seed for Arkansas. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, if you just lose out, that'd probably put them in a bad situation. But I don't see a world in which Arkansas finishes out the season unless they just, like I said, completely fall apart. I think this all but clinched a national seed for Arkansas. They were projected by D1 Baseball as the number 4 overall national seed, and that was coming into the weekend. And then you go out there and sweep the team that was the number 1 overall seed. I think that's going to bode pretty well for them. And so we're going to talk about this game and what all it entailed and some of the stars that stood out and kind of what it means for Arkansas. But before we do that, I do want to remind you guys, we are brought to you by Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. You want anti-Texas merch, you want some horns down shirts, you want whatever, you're excited about this weekend, you want to update your wardrobe, go do it at Alumni Hall. You can check those guys out over there in Fayetteville at 3417 North College Avenue, right next to the Whole Foods, right next to the Cava, right next to Jimmy John's, a few other things. If you can't get to the store, if you're not in Northwest Arkansas, visit this site, insidearkansas.com/alumni hall. That'll take you right to their online store. The promo code HOGSBY20 will get you 20% off your purchase. Those guys are very good to us. If you want to dress like the team, you want to look like them, want to get gifts for Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it is coming up, go do it at Alumni Hall. You will not regret it. Go check out what they got. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So moving on to the rundown of this game. So Landon Beidelshees, let's pull up the box score first, actually. So Landon Beidelshees gets the start for Arkansas. And, of course, it was a TBA. Arkansas kind of sent a message with that TBA, not announcing him as a starter before the weekend, because I think they wanted to kind of at least leave it open to interpretation. But it felt like they were kind of challenging Landon Beidelshees. They want to get him back on track. And for a while there in this game, it looked like he was back on track. He issues a 4-pitch walk to start the game. Then he retired the next 8 hitters. Goes 6 up, 6 down through. You get through the first 2 innings, and then gets 2 quick outs in the 3rd inning, and then issues a walk, gives up the first base hit of the ball game, and then a 3-run home run by Jalen Flores kind of broke it open. And so you went from pretty much a flawless outing to down 3-0, and we're kind of right back where we've been before. The 4th run that he gave up in the 4th inning, maybe not quite his fault. He gave up a little blooper down the right field line that I would. Me personally, just where I was sitting, which is in a pretty good seat behind home plate, I maybe thought Carson Bowles should have gotten to it. He did have to cover a good bit of ground, but it was a ball that was not hit hard at all. Ends up blooping down the right field line. That run came around to score on a base hit down the left field line that was hit a lot harder past the glove of Brent Iredale. And so a little bit of a tough break there from Landon Beidelshees. Honestly, this outing reminded me of a lot of Landon Beidelshees in SEC play, where he just kind of eats a few innings, keeps Arkansas in it, gives them a chance to win, but isn't really putting guys away consistently, isn't really dominating by any stretch of the imagination, throwing a good amount of strikes. I mean, he did issue the 4-pitch walk to start and then issued the walk in the 3rd inning. But you see there, 75 pitches, 48 strikes. Not bad from Landon Beidelshees, but certainly not the start that's going to definitively lock up this 3rd starting position. The good news for Landon Beidelshees, if he wants to continue starting on Sundays on Game 3, is Ben Bybee came in and gave up 3 quick runs, also had a little bit of bad luck, had a bloop single that fell in front of Carson Bowles that wound up coming around to score with 2 outs, and then he gives up a 2-run home run, which kind of, again, broke things open. After that, the Arkansas bullpen did a great job. Dylan Carter comes in and shuts the door, really gave Arkansas a chance. I don't know who they gave the win to in this one. I actually think they might have given it to Bybee, because by the time Dylan Carter came in, Arkansas had already taken the lead. So I think Ben Bybee gets the win here despite coming in and giving up 3 runs on 3 hits. But Dylan Carter did a great job of really settling this game down. And again, that's kind of been the consistent story for Arkansas, is you're never going to have all of your arms rolling at the same time. And we've seen a lot of Arkansas's top arms throw really well this weekend. And so you finally have a game this weekend where you don't get the greatest start. You kind of have to battle back offensively. I thought it was really important. Dylan Carter offered maybe the most important relief outing of the series this weekend. 2 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 44 pitches, 27 strikes. That's big time, filling up the zone. filling it up with some filth as well. He was consistently 96 miles an hour with the fastball, kept those guys off balance, didn't give up a ton of hard contact. He's been awesome for Arkansas this season, man. Kind of the unsung hero of this Razorback bullpen. Christian Fouch comes in with a runner on second and 2 outs, and then immediately walks the bases loaded, and then gets a fly out to kind of escape that jam there in the 8th inning. Comes back, gives up a solo home run, but picks up a couple punch outs. I thought Christian Fouch threw the ball pretty well. By this point, the game was pretty much determined for Arkansas that they were going to win this one. So let's jump into the play-by-play rundown real quick, and we'll just talk about what all happened for Arkansas and how they got those runs. I mentioned 5 home runs, scored the first 12 runs for Arkansas. So you go into the bottom of the third. Arkansas is down 3-0 here at this point. Their first deficit of the entire series. And it happened pretty quickly. Again, at this point, Arkansas has 0 hits, and you get a quick fly out from Justin Thomas, a quick line out from Charles Davalon, hit the ball well. And this is against Grubbs, by the way, one of their top bullpen arms, had 5 saves. They're moving him to a starting role here, which I honestly felt like was a little bit of a panic move, but also Texas is this is just their second weekend without their Friday night starter, so they're still trying to figure out how to piece these things together. Bahiva Aloy records the first Arkansas base hit. He finished with 3 hits in this game. He was very good. Continues to just be a pro at the plate. He wasn't the one who had all the big home runs. And, if I told you Arkansas hit, I think it was 9 home runs this weekend. If I told you Arkansas hit 9 home runs, you probably would assume Bahiva Aloy probably hit 2 or 3 of those. He did not have a home run, but was a consistent good AB, consistently going the other way. He had a bunch of hits to the right side of the field this weekend. Was tough to pitch to, fouled off some close pitches, took his walks. I just thought he did a really good job. He gets Arkansas going with a base hit right down the third baseline off the third baseman's glove. He had another hit just like this yesterday. And then the next pitch was to his brother, Kahio Aloy, who just mashes a home run to left center field. Kind of broke a little bit of an SEC home run drought for Kahio Aloy. He's hit for a ton of power. That was his 12th home run on the year. We've seen him. He's hit a ton of doubles as well. He's hitting like 365 on the year. Sneaky had not been hitting a ton of home runs in SEC play. He gets a hold of one there, just under 400 feet. Really good swing from Kahio. So right off the bat, again, it's kind of like Arkansas in the top half. You go from pitchers cruising, no hits, no runs, to now it's a 3-2 game. So that Kahio Aloy swing, I felt like really got Arkansas right back in the game. They get right back on the horse in the 4th inning. And again, Landon Bottleshees gives up that 4th run, gets the bloop single, ends up giving up a double down the left field line. That makes it a 4-2 game. So Arkansas didn't get to quite capture that momentum there. But then you come back in the bottom of the 4th. Byrne Iredale starts it off with a walk, a 3-2 walk. I believe he walked twice in this game and also had 2 base hits to right field. So really good stuff to see from Byrne Iredale. Again, he had 1 home run in this series. But if I told you Arkansas was going to hit all these home runs, you're probably thinking of some of these big hitters that we've seen do it for Arkansas time and time again. And it was not that way. Byrne Iredale was making it work for Arkansas without the home run ball. I thought it was really good to see some of those swings from him. So he starts it off with a walk. Like I said, Carson Bowles with a deep fly out to center field. And then Reese Robinette, big country, gets to start at first base. Got 2 starts this weekend. They did not start him against the lefty last night, but he did come in as a defensive replacement. I mean, I think we're going to continue to see him at first base, man. If after today, if we don't, then something's really up. Rips a home run right around 400 feet. His first one, his second one that we'll talk about later, went 448 feet. Looked like it just disintegrated. This one was hit well, kind of right off that scoreboard in that same area. That really got everybody going. Ties the game up 4-4. So once again, this Arkansas offense has that quick strike spurt ability that just sneaks up on you. When you can hit for power as much as Arkansas can, it really toys with you a little bit. And Texas, by the way, who issued 10 walks, Arkansas's hitters worked 10 walks in this game. I read off the numbers yesterday. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but it was 9 or 10 walks and 5 hit. I think it was 9 walks and 5 hit by pitches last night. And Arkansas was also hit by their fair share of pitches in this game as well. And so the free pass kind of was the story for Arkansas offensively. And they made those walks costly by coming back and hitting the ball for power against this Texas offense, which, by the way, we talked about it coming into the series. Texas was not only the number 1 opponent's batting average in the SEC, had given up the fewest singles, the fewest doubles, the fewest triples, and the fewest home runs. So for Arkansas to hit for power the way that they did in this game and this series overall against this Texas pitching staff should really clear up some questions about, can this Arkansas offense, are they really that dynamic when they're facing a good pitching staff? I think we got a loud and definitive yes in this game. And so then that's where Grubbs, who again started off really well for Texas, gives up the 2 home runs. That gives him 4 earned runs on the day. So he exits the game with 1 out in the 4th inning. The first hitter that Thomas Burns, their big righty, who's throwing the ball, I said he threw 93 yesterday. I sold him short. He was like 95, 96, and even touched 97 a time or two today. He was kind of electric, but he did give up 5 runs. The first batter he faced was Ryder Helfrich, who issued a walk to him. Helfrich walked a couple times in this game. He had some good ABs. And then Justin Thomas Jr., who had been flirting with a home run all weekend, had at least 2 and maybe 3 throughout the weekend, and he had one in this game. Deep fly balls to left center field, moonshots. The wind was actually, it's funny. There were so many home runs hit today. You would think the wind was actually blowing out. It really wasn't. It was kind of blowing from left field to right field. So not like straight in where it's knocking everything down, but fly balls that were like up in the jet stream going out from a right-handed hitter towards left field were actually getting blown towards center field a little bit. And so Justin Thomas, the ball that he hit earlier today, similar to the one he hit last night, was kind of caught at the track, but like got just enough wind to stay in the park. I thought that was going to happen here. Ends up being a 404-foot home run. They showed the replay. It was off the center fielder's glove, like by about this much. In the stadium, we didn't cheer for a while because the shortstop was acting like, oh yeah, we caught that, huge play for us. And so we were kind of like all like, do we cheer? What's going on? Turns out it was a home run. So with the walk before, it makes it a 6-4 game. Charles Davalon works a walk, and then the Eloy brothers both struck out after that. So Arkansas goes into the top of the 5th inning up 6-4. And again, this is when Ben Bybee comes into the game. And, we've talked about Ben Bybee a lot. He's thrown the ball really well for Arkansas this year, filled a bunch of different roles. He's actually been really good in SEC play, just didn't have it today. And that's 2 games in a row now that Ben Bybee has not had it. So maybe there's some cause for concern there. But again, I felt like he had a golden opportunity to make his claim to be that number 3 starter. Did not work out for him in this game. Again, the double that started the inning was literally hit. Vahiva Eloy actually almost caught it from shortstop. Was not hit hard at all. Ends up blooping in right in there in shallow right field. Carson Bowles has been swinging the bat really well for Arkansas, and he's been awesome. He 100% deserves these opportunities. I'm okay with giving up a little bit of defense in the outfield, frankly, especially if you're going to hit like 300 like he's been doing. Not going to win a Gold Glove in right field anytime soon, I would not imagine. And that may have cost Ben Bybee a run. Ends up giving up a 2-strike, 2-out single to Kimball Schusler, the most Texas name of all time, in a 3-2 count. And then he gets up 1-2 on Gasparino. And it was actually pretty similar. I mean, obviously Ben Bybee's right-handed. It was a slider in a 1-2 count that he gives up the big 3-run home run on, or it was a 2-run home run for Ben Bybee. It was a 3-run home run for Landon Beidelshees. And Beidelshees threw his to Ryan Galvin, Jalen Flores. And it was a right-handed hitter, left-handed slider, just goes right into the barrel of the bat. Ben Bybee, 1 pitch away 2 different times from being out of the inning without a run, ends up giving up 3 runs. And, the margin for error, man, in this league, it's really small. And so tough to see him on the other end of it. So now Arkansas is down 7-6 at this point. And it's been fairly competitive back and forth. And what I love is Arkansas just never flinched, dude. It never bothered them at all. The arena, with the fans, we maybe got a little bit tense here and there, mostly with the umpires, mostly with Texas. But this Razorback team, they never flinch. And so now you give up the lead again. You're in the bottom of the 5th. And again, it would have been very easy for Arkansas at any point in this game to just say, you know what, it's not our day. We won the series already. They're number 1. It's fine. They're about to bring in this Volantis kid who's allegedly going to shove it right up our ass. Like, just let them have it. Arkansas had plenty of opportunities to do that. They did not take it. They come back in the bottom of the 5th. Again, the hard-throwing righty is still in at this point. And again, I think that I've talked about Texas' bullpen a lot, but it really is. I feel like that was like the biggest storyline in the series that I was kind of keeping up with. And for both dugouts, you all kind of know. You always know when there's a pitcher that has these crazy numbers, and give Arkansas credit for being prepared for all these pitchers. But and so hey, if we fall behind by 2-3 runs and it gets into the 4th, 5th, 6th innings, they're going to go to that guy. And then we're going to really have some trouble and we're going to have to lock in. And so it was kind of a race to get to the 6th inning with a lead for either team in this game, honestly. And Texas was really close to doing it in hindsight. And he ended up giving up a 3-run home run and wasn't able to finish the game. So it wouldn't have mattered. In hindsight, I bet Jim Schlossnagle probably wishes once they took that lead 7-6 that he'd just gone right to Volantis and figured it out from there. Don't think it would have mattered. But he goes back to Burns for some more outs. He gets Kojal to ground out. Kojal did not have a great day today, by the way. Brent Iredale works another 3-2 walk. He's getting up close to 40 walks in the year, leads Arkansas by a wide margin. Carson Bowles works a walk after him, and then Reese Robinette. This dude, by the way, again, he's throwing the fastball 95, 96, was really struggling to locate it. Goes first pitch changeup to Reese Robinette. Reese Robinette sat there and watched this dude walk two guys, can't land the fastball. A lot of times you go up there, you're probably thinking, I'm going to take here. Gets a first pitch changeup and just unloads on it. And for those that don't know, again, I don't hit at a high level, but I just watch it. When you're hitting, it's a guessing game all the time. And so when you're pitching or hitting, it's kind of, we all like to say, you'll hear coaches say, don't guess. They're all guessing up there. And we talked to Matt Goodhart about this. When you're a pitcher that's kind of struggling to find the zone, you always kind of know in the back of your mind, if I can land a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch of any variety, you're probably not going to get a swing. They're probably going to take that pitch. And a lot of times you see the hitter take a pitch that's right down the middle. A lot of times it's because it's not what they thought they were going to be getting. And so they kind of give up on it right away. And when a guy's walked two guys back to back, you're kind of okay to take a strike there, kind of make him prove he can throw one. So I bet you this kid definitely was thinking, all right, I'm going to try and drop in this changeup against the lefty. And a changeup is basically just a fastball that's slower. It's kind of meant to get the hitter off balance. If you're going to throw a changeup in the zone, that hitter better not have guessed changeup. Reese Robinette guessed changeup, and I mean, he watched it fly. Dude, it looked like the ball disintegrated. I was in the park, did not see. We couldn't see. I'm assuming it went over the scoreboard because it was hit 448. The scoreboard's at about 370, 375. So if it's 448, it definitely was hit beyond it. I didn't see it bounce off of it. But I've watched the video back 10 times. I don't know where the ball went. I think he might have just deleted this baseball. And he definitely admired it. Shout out to the Razorback Baseball's video team on Twitter and Instagram. They do such a good job at capturing these moments. There's a really good shot they posted of Reese Robinette hitting the home run and kind of watching it fly. And behind Reese, you can see all the fans just going crazy. Really good stuff. And just such a cool moment for Reese Robinette, man. Dude's been waiting his turn. I mean, this is a guy that had some big moments for Arkansas as a freshman, was a guy that kind of became a fan favorite because he came out of nowhere and was just a random guy that we had never heard of, ends up helping that 2023 team, ends up redshirting last year, which surprised a little bit of us. I think a lot of people maybe thought, okay, he's a good player, but is he going to play at Arkansas? Is he going to go transfer to a smaller school and maybe ball out there? Who knows? He waited, he kept working, kept getting better, had a really good summer last year. To see him come back and wait his turn, and he's waited for months, dude. Not only the years leading up to this. I mean, we're in the middle of May, and we're in early May, and he's just now starting to get consistent reps. For him to not pout, not be over there feeling sorry for himself, wait for his opportunity and make the most of it. That's the kind of crap you love to see, and that's the type of stuff that bodes well for your locker room. When you see other guys see that guy like Reese Robinette, who waited his turn, didn't complain, and then he got his chance and he made the most of it, that sends a ripple effect throughout your locker room and really throughout the fan base. It fires all of us up watching stuff like that happen. Could not be more happy for him. Spoiler alert, he's going to be a winner of the weekend. Very happy for him. That makes it a 9-7 game there. And then at this point, Helfrich strikes out looking and Justin Thomas works a walk. That's when, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning, that's when Texas finally said, F it, we're going to Volantis. I'm guessing after the home run, they just got so mad and were like, just get warmed up, we're coming in. And so they go to Volantis. He ends up striking out Charles Davalon on 3 pitches, by the way. Volantis, who's a left-handed pitcher, freshman, strikes out Charles Davalon and made him look silly. And so he starts it, and I think that's worth noting. He starts his outing against the leadoff hitter. He's basically just going to face the starting lineup, and he strikes out Charles Davalon on 3 pitches. Keep that in mind for as we continue this journey here. So we move on to the 6th inning. Dylan Carter comes in for Ben Bybee right here. Gets a quick fly ball to left field, hit pretty well. Strikes out Farmer swinging, gets a ground out to short, 3 up, 3 down. That's the type of zero that Arkansas was looking for. Both teams really were looking for any type of arm that could just shut these other offenses down. They needed it. Arkansas finally puts up a 0 with Dylan Carter. I thought that was a very key moment in the game. You come back in the bottom of the 6th inning. Arkansas doesn't score against Volantis. But again, this is the guy who came into this game with a 0.98 ERA, 52 strikeouts and 6 walks on the year. Crazy numbers. And it's a 9-7 game also. So there's still like the game's up for grabs. There's still a lot of outs for Arkansas to get. Vahiva Aloy starts it off with a really good at-bat, goes the other way, pokes a single through the right side. This guy doesn't throw a ton of fastballs. His fastball is like 89, 91. He doesn't throw a ton of fastballs. He likes to live with that slider. Throws a fastball to Vahiva Aloy, and he just pokes it through the right side for a base hit. Comes back with strikeouts to Kahio Aloy and Cam Kojal. Then Brent Iredale singles on an 0-2 pitch through the right side. And then Carson Bowles grounds out. So Arkansas doesn't get him in the 6th inning, but I felt like they were kind of starting to break him down, kind of starting to feel him out a little bit. Dylan Carter comes back in the 7th inning, works around a 1-out walk, gets a strikeout of Schussler, gets him looking at a fastball. Then you have 7th inning stretch time, get the fans riled up. Anytime you can get a strikeout going into the 7th inning stretch, gives the arena a nice little bit of buzz there. So you go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and again, still 9-7 at this point. Game is still very much up for grabs. Reese Robinette pops out to start the inning. Ryder Helfrich works a walk and then steals second base. You don't see a catcher steal bases too often, but Ryder Helfrich is one of those guys that can do that. Error, they try a failed pickoff attempt that tried to pick him off at second base. He ends up moving up to third base with 1 out. So you're thinking right here, like, we're all kind of thinking, man, if Arkansas could get just this one insurance run right here, the difference between 9-7 and 10-7, like, that would be a big deal. Justin Thomas Jr. ends up with a really, really good AB, falls behind 0-2, fouls off a couple of pitches, 4 straight balls, really good walk against a really good arm. Justin Thomas Jr., again, who homered in this game, consistently at this point, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. He's hitting like 290. He's worked a ton of walks this year, hit for some power, has 8 home runs on the year now. I don't know how Arkansas could ask for much more out of their 9-hole hitter. The dude's awesome. He's just at this point, and his numbers in SEC play are actually pretty similar to his numbers in non-conference. So it's like, it doesn't seem to matter what arms you throw at him. Like, he's pretty good for giving Arkansas some good ABs in that 9 spot there. And I thought this one was a really important one here, because it gets the lineup turned over. Instead of having 2 outs, runner on third, you've got 1 out, runners on first and third, and now you're facing the starting lineup for the second time. Charles Davalon, who got absolutely abused, 3 pitches, swings and misses. The first time he faces him, first pitch, actually that's a lie, second pitch that Charles Davalon gets, absolutely obliterates it. I believe it was the breaking ball. He took one low for a strike, and then in a 1-0 count, left on left, just absolutely uncorks one off the performance facility in right field. That certainly lit Baum-Walker Stadium into an absolute frenzy. That's when you kind of knew it was Arkansas's weekend, man. Like, they had these guys, even Kendall Rogers, who by the way, might be talking to Kendall Rogers pretty soon. We might be hearing from Kendall here soon. He even tweeted out, like, for Texas, he's like, when Dylan Volantis gives up a 3-run home run, it's just not your weekend. Not to compare Dylan Volantis to Kevin Kopps. He's not nearly that good. Don't confuse what I'm saying. But, like, you know how it feels when you have your guy on the mound, and when your guy gives up a home run, it's like, it kind of shakes you a little bit deeper. I thought that was a really important swing for Arkansas. Pretty much put the game out of reach for Texas. And I mean, Arkansas wound up winning this one 13-8. Vahiva Aloy followed with a base hit to right field, his second hit off of Volantis. And then in the 8th inning, Texas didn't even bring him back. I mean, Arkansas got him out of there. TKO. He tapped out. He said, "Coach, I don't want to go out there again. Please bring in literally anyone but me." Love to see that. Dylan Carter comes back in the 8th inning, gets a fly out, gets a line out, and then gives up a double in the gap to Rodriguez. And this is where his day ended. Arkansas goes to Christian Fauch, gets a nice ovation for Dylan Carter, which he deserved. Dude was awesome in this game. Really big time stuff. And then, like I said, Fauch issues a 4-pitch walk, then issues a 5-pitch walk, and then gets up 0-2 and gets a quick, lazy fly ball to right field. That gets Arkansas out of that one. They add a run in the bottom half. Brent Iredale with a base hit to right field. Carson Bowles hits a ball to right center field. The right fielder was like borderline camped under this ball, and the center fielder calls him off. And so then the right fielder kind of backs up. The ball ends up landing right where the right fielder was standing. Center fielder who called him off couldn't quite get to it. Ends up being a ground rule double, which put runners on second and third. And then Reese Robinette, the first pitch he sees, pokes it through the left side for an RBI ground out, which was his 6th RBI of the day. Again, just a massive day at the office for for Reese Robinette. And then finally, after a couple, I think Helfrich, I guess, what did he do? He ground out to the pitcher, and then Charles Davalon grounds into a fielder's choice right up the middle. And like I said, Christian Fauch comes back in, gives up a solo home run to Jalen Flores, his second home run of the day, goes opposite field with that one. Just a good swing. You're okay with that solo home run, and what was at the time a 13-7 game. Arkansas finishes off 13-8, man. Again, really impressive win for the Arkansas Razorbacks. When you sweep a team, it usually entails you winning in a variety of different ways. But I thought that was a cool part of the statement, is that Arkansas won the pitcher's battle yesterday. They had pretty much a dominant game on Thursday night where everything went their way. You win 9-0, and then you get into a shootout, and it shows just so many different ways this Razorback team can beat you. And they beat Texas in every possible way. It just really looked like if they played 7 games, Arkansas would win 7-0. Like, it really did feel that way. And Texas is not as bad as they look this weekend. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, those guys are going to be good. I imagine they're going to sweep Oklahoma next week. Like, they're going to get right back on the horse and get back to winning. And Jim Schlossnagle, as much as I cannot stand the guy, got to give him credit as a baseball coach. He's always going to have his team overachieving. That's what Texas has done to this point. I have no doubt they're going to be a tough out in the postseason, but just with this matchup, I think this is a really, really good matchup for Arkansas. And it kind of played out that way. Like, Texas A&M, I think Arkansas is a better team than Texas A&M, but Texas A&M isn't necessarily a great matchup for Arkansas. I think Texas is a better overall team. Hell, they swept Texas A&M last week, but they're a much, much better matchup for Arkansas. And speaking of Jim Schlossnagle, the slimy rat. So, of course, nobody likes this guy. He's been a great head coach, but he's been a great villain in college baseball. And make no mistake, he wants to be a villain. I have not heard one coach, player, or media member ever say a good word about the guy. Was at TCU for a while, did a great job there. I think he took him to Omaha like 4 straight years or something like that. Goes to A&M, which kind of made sense. A little bit of an upward job, cooler conference, all that. Goes to Omaha 2 out of 3 years, including the national title last year. Leaves A&M high and dry. So as much as he is a villain, I got to respect that move. I loved whenever he did that to A&M. But for him to say in the press conference, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere," and then go to Texas 12 hours later, that makes you a villain. And so on top of this rivalry, on top of Arkansas, Texas is always going to be a big deal no matter what. But it's a bigger deal when you have characters like Jim Schlossnagle that are so easy to hate, so easy to root against. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not trying to be like all like clutching my pearls and old man yelling at the cloud type of thing here, but these Texas players were yapping a good bit. Like, Hog fans were, of course, giving it to them. There were plenty of obscenities yelled. There's all kinds of chirping going on at Baumgarten Stadium. Of course, you're going to hear stuff from the Hog pen, and I'm sure there was some crazy stuff said on Arkansas side. So I'm not going to sit here and try and act like it was all one-sided. But like, Texas's players were going at it with Hog fans all weekend. Shout out to Jonah Williams, Texas's starting left fielder, who also, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, he's also their starting safety in football. He was like the number 5 overall player in the 2025 class for football, and he's also their starting left fielder in baseball. He was getting after it with Hog fans all weekend, turning around from the dugout, yelling stuff, making gestures to fans. Like, it was pretty crazy. And so, of course, every time Arkansas did something good, they gave it right back to them. Shout out to Texas. They have apparently a home run celebration that's like something along these lines. They do something like that. For those that are listening on audio, I'm taking both my hands and I'm clapping above my head. Like, it's a weird thing they do. And so every time a guy would homer for Texas, they would do that. And Hog fans did not like it. So then the next time that guy would come up, he would strike out. They'd start clapping and blah, blah, blah. And when Charles Davalon hit his home run and they go to change pitchers, all Hog fans were going crazy with that celebration. So it was a really fun weekend of trash talk. And I want to give Texas, credit's probably not the type of word here, because like it's not because they did anything right or good, but they were a worthy villain. Like, they played the part of villains. They came into enemy territory and kind of embraced that. And credit to the Arkansas players and coaching staff. They certainly embraced that as well. I mentioned the videos that the Razorback Twitter account's been putting out. My favorite from yesterday was they posted one about pitching. Every single Razorback pitcher, Gage Wood, Gabe Gackle, and Aiden Jimenez last night, just every pitch they would throw were just dog cussing these Texas players, just telling them to get back to the dugout, get the F out of here, like playing with some edge, man. Like, it was very chippy. This was a very intense series. great atmosphere. I mean, over 30,000 fans at Baum for the weekend. Every single crowd was awesome. Cannot give the fan base enough credit. It was just a fun atmosphere for baseball. And of course, it's a lot easier to enjoy it when it goes your way, when the Hogs win. But I felt like, and I say this a lot, that like this is the type of series that's going to help both teams. Like you learn a lot about yourself when you're out there facing the toughest competition with the most eyes on you, the most pressure on you, this type of atmosphere. This is what it's going to be like in the postseason. And so it just could not feel better to see Arkansas rise to the occasion, embrace those circumstances and make the most out of it, and just whip Texas' ass, man. One more time, Horns. Let's bust out. Let me see. I put out the one I showed on the show yesterday. We got two, and the one I showed yesterday had chili cheese stains on it. So I'm showing my nicer one here today. Shout out to the Horns down. Shout out to everybody at Baum, man. It was just a great, I mean, the weather was awesome. Great atmosphere. So many people came up and said what's up, said they love the show, which is always feeds my ego and makes me feel good. But seriously, man, it's really fun to watch this fan base come together and enjoy some wins in any sport, no matter what. Let's carry this energy into the postseason. Let's all hop on board, man. The journey is just beginning. The fun's about to begin. You get two more big-time series next weekend. I will be down, boots on the ground in Baton Rouge, in my home state, bringing you guys the coverage. Really excited about that one. And, of course, we're going to be cranking out Baumbastic podcast content all day, every day. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. The fun is just beginning. Considering maybe doing some type of Sunday live stream because we ain't got a game. We ain't got nothing else to do. So we'll see if we end up doing a live stream. Be on the lookout for that. But we're going to have the content rolling. Like I said, going to try and get Kendall Rogers to get his thoughts on this series and sort of what he sees from Arkansas. Would really appreciate hearing from him. But we roll on, man. The Hogs are back on track. They're playing some damn good baseball. They're a really good team. Okay. I know you guys like to argue with me a lot. This is a good team. I'm not saying they're guaranteed going to win the national title. This is a good team. Can we all agree? Like this is a squad that's got a chance, and we'll see how far they can take it, man. But like I said, the journey's just beginning. Hop on board, man. It's about to get hectic, and buckle up. Appreciate you guys. That's all I got for you today on the Baumbastic Podcast. It's probably our lengthiest game recap we've ever done. Appreciate you guys for sticking it out and always tuning in, and appreciate your love for the Arkansas Razorbacks, specifically the Diamond Hogs. And we'll see you tomorrow, man. Have a great day. Woo pig. Stay out of trouble tonight. Stay off Dixon.